course, it would have been nice to see President Obama walking with President Hollande and Angela Merkel, but actually I think the polemic is bigger in the US than in France. I would like to say that when on Wednesday, just after the attack, President Obama went to the French embassy, these images circulated everywhere in France, and we are more thinking of that. I think French people know that the US are with them right now.
All right, folks, some of the aftermath of President Obama not going to France. Joining us now, we welcome back to the show John Gizzi. But first, we want to hear from you, folks. Is President Obama handling Islamic terror properly? I just like saying it that way. Go to newsmax.com/polls and vote right now. Newsmax.com/polls. John Gizzi, Newsmax White House correspondent. Hello, sir.
Hello, Steve. A pleasure to be back. Happy New Year.
Always Happy New Year to you. So were you at this annual GOP retreat?
I certainly was, and it's very interesting. Republicans were arriving there just after stripping out the funding for Homeland Security, all of the authority that the president invoked with his executive orders on immigration, essentially allowing 4 million illegal aliens to be protected from deportation. Almost to a person, the House members who arrived at the convention center in Hershey were geared up for a long-term combat with the other end of Pennsylvania Avenue on this issue. And they fully expect that if it gets out of the Senate, and that's very uncertain, the president will veto the measure. But the difference between debating this when the full funding of government came up at the end of the year and dealing with it now is this is what the entire focus of the debate will be on in Congress, the $40 billion for Homeland Security and the president's executive orders and possible overreach of constitutional authority.
Yeah, it's going to be very, very interesting. Did Jay Leno and Tony Blair show up?
Well, remember something. For reporters, those sessions were off limits. Members of Congress were very accessible, and we certainly covered a lot of topics. But as for being with any of the glitterati, you have to be elected to Congress for that. I'm not elected to Congress.
I don't know.
So
I think, John, I think your hat should grant you entree into the glitterati.
I should have invoked that, but frankly, I was just happy to get the interviews. I might add something else, and I want you to think about this because for future panels, Steve, it's going to be important. The King versus Burwell case could well do what the initial Sebelius case did not, strike down Obamacare. And today, Republicans in Hershey had a panel to discuss what they do if King versus Burwell strikes down Obamacare on the basis of some states having subsidies and others do not. And they want to be ready to have a plan to see that they do care about this issue. So I can tell you that Republicans very much are cautiously optimistic the court will do what it didn't do in 12, and their own plan will take effect.
Okay, let's move on because I want to get to the Democratic side of things here. And Elizabeth Warren, what's the deal with her? I mean, she says now that she's not going to run for president, but does she still wield power in that party? I mean, extreme power in that party?
My goodness, tell that to a fellow, and he's right in New York near you, Antonio Weiss. A man who had an outstanding career in finance was named one of the undersecretary positions in the Treasury Department. Senator Warren did not like his background on Wall Street and in high finance and threatened to block his nomination. In other words, a Democrat was going to do what the White House regularly blasts Republicans for, which is to deny an appointment to one of the president's choices. Mr. Weiss chose the better part of valor. It would seem, as Senator John Cornyn of Texas told me yesterday, that what he calls the hard left has a veto power on the administration, and we're going to see it in the battles over trade that are coming up in the Senate.
Yeah, well, the hard left, don't get me started. We're going to see a lot of that. I think the leader of the hard left wing of the Democratic Party is, in fact, Barack Obama. John, always great to see you, sir. And we'll see you very, very soon. And please always wear the hat.
I certainly will, and I'll always have information from the White House as well. It's never boring.
Believe me, I know that. John Gizzi, ladies and gentlemen, Newsmax White House correspondent. Love talking to John. Not only is he informative, I love his presentation. And I got to admit, I love the hat. Plus, we all sing here. Remember the song, I'm So Dizzy, My Head is Spinning? Well, we all sing, I'm so gizzy, my head is spinning. We do that. I mean, I'm going to tell you the truth, behind the scenes at the Steve Malzberg Show, Newsmax Television. So we love having John Gizzi on for those 3 reasons. I could think of more, too. All right, we're coming back. Contributing editor at Harper's Magazine. What's our security like and our intelligence like in this country?